Hey guys, it's Brandon Miniman from PocketNow.com. Recently, Samsung invited us to New York to get some intimate hands-on time with the Galaxy Note 2. So we used it as an opportunity to compare it against the Galaxy Note 1 to check and see how the S Pen software has been updated to make the S Pen more usable. We also wanted to test the performance of the beast that is the Galaxy Note 2 with 2 gigabytes of RAM and a 1.6 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor. So we really wanted to test the performance of the device and see if it's as amazing as it should be. So in this video, we're going to give you a closer look at the Galaxy Note 2 before it comes out. Let's get to it. And so here's the Note 2, and sorry for the reflection or any other kind of weirdness. I'm actually doing this on a chair because it's a better background than a white table. So let's take a look at the Note closely. We've got this really nice gray finish around the outside and on the back. You're going to get that same fingerprint magnet effect that you get on the Galaxy S3. It's kind of a shiny coating that definitely picks up fingerprints, but it's really handsome looking. And this Galaxy Note, the Galaxy Note 2, feels a lot more substantial than the original Galaxy Note, which almost kind of felt like an experiment, right? Because they were taking basically what was then the Galaxy S2, putting it on a massive display and making the screen resolution higher. And so what you got was kind of a prototype looking like device in retrospect, whereas the Galaxy Note 2 looks like a well put together package. It's very reminiscent of the Galaxy S3. In fact, let's take out the Galaxy S3. Again, I told you there might be some weirdness in this video because we're kind of doing this away from everyone else to get some quiet. Yes, I did just drop the phone. This is raw journalism here. Here's the Galaxy S3. Two very similar devices. We get that elongated home screen button. We've got the same kind of coatings. Even the prox sensor and the front-facing camera are in the exact same location. Let's whip off the back battery cover here, which is over here. We've got a 3100 milliamp hour battery. On the original Note, it was just, and I'm saying just, it's huge, 2500 milliamp hours. It's kind of a similar configuration back here to what you get on the Galaxy S3. If you look at the location of the, or the placement of the SIM card slot, the micro SIM slot, and also the micro SD expansion slot. Now the screen on the Galaxy Note 2 is bigger by 0.5 inches, but technically it's 0.3 inches because the screen's actually 5.55 inches, making it approximately 5.6 inches. And it's a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It's 720 down, or 720 across by 1280 versus 1280 down and 800 across. So it's lower resolution, but as you're going to see in a second, it's an improved screen so you can't see pixels. It's not pen tile anymore. And now something that they did, because the screen is longer, the device itself is less wide. And it's kind of hard to show you here with one hand, but as you can see, it's about 2 millimeters less wide, but it's also, yeah, slightly taller, but barely, and slightly thinner. You're not going to notice the difference in thinness. What you're going to notice is the weight and the feel and the kind of finishedness, if that's a word, of the Galaxy Note 2. Like I said, it feels like a Galaxy S3, but a lot bigger. So let's turn on both devices here. Both of these are Super AMOLED, and we're going to take a close look at the screen. Different software here. We've got Jelly Bean on the right. I might have to change the orientation of the camera here. Jelly Bean on the right and Ice Cream Sandwich on the left. I'm going to get really close on the screen on the, actually, let's go to the Google Play icon here on the pen tile Galaxy Note. You can see pixels. If we move over to the same exact icon on the Galaxy Note 2, you cannot see pixels. It's actually a little bit more blurry, which is kind of a strange effect. Kind of makes sense because it's a lower pixel density. But technically, the screen on the Galaxy Note 2 is better, and Samsung claims it's their best screen yet, and you know, it does look really, really nice. Both of these screens are on max brightness right now, so you get that kind of really nice look and feel. Let's do some basic speed tests. We're not going to really get into it much until we get this back in the PocketNow labs. We're going to launch the app tray, and again, this is a little difficult with one hand. We're going to kind of flip around. You definitely get that Jelly Bean smoothness on the Galaxy Note 2. It's just a nice, fantastic fluidity. If we bring down the notification tray, and that is a huge jump going all the way up there. This is not a one-handed device, no doubt about it. We get some interesting enhancements up here. If you pop out the SIM card, if you pop out the S Pen, so we're going to do in a minute, you're going to see that you can actually, you get to see some shortcuts here. And we've got our notifications here, which you can swipe off of the screen one at a time. We've got our quick toggles up here as usual. But yeah, this is definitely Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean. Okay, so let's start with it turned off. I finally have two hands here that I can use. We're going to turn it off and take out the S Pen. The S Pen, to start, has been improved. So let's take a look at the S Pen on the original Note here. It's definitely thinner, less tall, less wide, a little less ergonomic, and also Samsung claims they've improved the rubberiness of the tip. That's a word I just made up. So let's take a look at some of the really cool features of the S Pen. Let's go into, this is one of my favorite features, we're going to go into S Planner. Okay, so here's S Planner, and here's a really cool thing that you can do with it. If you go into edit mode, you can actually get a lot of those. You can actually draw on the calendar, which is super cool. And of course, this doesn't really sync with anything, so it's only useful if you're using it on the Galaxy Note 2. But it's just really cool to be able to actually do that with a calendar, because you can't really do that on any other device. So you can highlight stuff, you can circle stuff, put happy faces when, you know, various things happen. That's one really cool feature. Another cool feature is that if we go into the email app, which is over here, we can write directly into emails. So if we go to create a new message, and sometimes this, go down here, you can actually write into a message, or you can sign your name. And what this does is, as far as I know, it converts it to basically an image. So the person on the other end will get an image, kind of like a digital signature. Now there's a lot Samsung has done with the hover capability. Now on the original Note, you could turn on the ability to see the mouse pointer, right, when you move around on the screen. But Samsung has taken this a step further. So for example, you can hover over an email, and if you hover long enough, you get a little preview. And this works in a lot of different places, like in the photo gallery. Problem here is that you can't really specify the time, right? So sometimes it takes 3 seconds. Sometimes you get into a good little rhythm here and it kind of opens up a lot quickly. Some other cool things you can do is you can double tap on the screen while holding the button and get a note anywhere. And this is kind of like the pop-up view style thing, right? So you can start, you know, you can write, you can go back to your home screen. Let's say someone has called you and you want to write down a phone number. You can kind of keep this on your screen as long as you want, or you can expand and go, you can go into the full S Note application, which many people are used to. And close it from there. Another cool thing that Samsung has done, and we're going to go back into the email app. I know we're jumping around a lot, but there's a lot to show you. Our camera person might be getting heavy hands. Another thing you can do, we've got to find an email with a link. All right, we found an email with a link. Click on the link, and we've got this new thing called Web Everywhere. Right? So if we tap on that, we have it always open. We will get an actual pop-up screen, so you don't have to leave the email application. Let's say someone sent you a link to somewhere, and you still want to read the contents of the email. You can still do that, but now you can have this awesome pop-up view. Samsung really expanding upon this paradigm where you can have information sort of presented on top of other information, which is super cool. Now there are some other uses for this hovering functionality. And let's change the keyboard. So let's go to they were showing the website Porsche.com. Because if you go to the web version, there's a problem, right? And this is a problem inherent to all mobile devices. All of these are hover menus that you can only use if you are on a desktop computer. But as you probably have guessed, if you hover the S Pen over there, you get that full desktop experience, which is something I've never really seen before, and it's really useful to be able to actually interact fully. And this happens a lot in restaurant websites or really flash-based content where there's some sort of gallery or something that you need to hover your mouse on, and now you can do it nicely with the S Pen. And of course we have the other Jelly Bean features like Google Now is here. We've got Project Butter, so everything is quite smooth. It feels nice. There's a lot to this phone. There's a lot Samsung has done to really increase the usability of the S Pen, and we're going to have full coverage on this device and talk about all of those little things that it does, because right now I'm just going off of memory, and there are many other things that this thing can do. We're also going to have a full comparison in the future with the Galaxy Note. So again, we'll be back soon with more. That's it for now.
So again, we're going to have a lot more coming up on the Galaxy Note 2 once it's for sale, once we get one here in our controlled Pocketnow Labs environment where we can slow down a little bit and really do benchmark tests and web browser comparisons and everything you know that we like to do on new hardware. But hopefully this gave you a better idea of what's coming with the Galaxy Note 2, because you're going to see a big release of this device here in the US and around the world. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you think about the Galaxy Note 2 and whether you're going to get one. That's it for now.